I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. It's time for you to journey with us again as we travel down the road less traveled. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. My name is Dennis Carl, and this is the road less traveled, a very special road less traveled tonight. The Christmas road less traveled. That's right. This is our Christmas special. And we want to welcome everyone here. Come on in, set a spell, and join us. Here's my co-host, Mr. Gerald Fountain, and our special co-host, Miss Jane Fountain, also known as Shiro. Hello, dear.
Hi, everyone. Merry
Welcome
Christmas.
aboard.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Well, this is our Christmas show tonight. We want to invite everybody in and sit down with a spell with us here. Tonight, we're talking about our Christmas memories. We're going to have some special guests on. And we're going to just have a good time here, definitely. Get in the Christmas mood here. This is Christmas Eve. So we're definitely gearing up for the big day here on the road less traveled. It's a Christmas road less traveled tonight. I like that idea. Definitely. And thanks to Gerald for our new background there for tonight on our Christmassy background.
Yeah, snow.
And I see we got some people gathering in the chat room already. Want to say hello to Urso and somebody named Midwest Night Watchers.
Yeah.
And hello, welcome in. Hello to Maria. Let's see who else we got. We got Donna Lee here. Hello, Donna. And we've got some more people gathering in. I think we may have some late stragglers because we kind of up the ante tonight. We're coming on at 8 tonight, a little an hour earlier than usual. But they will hopefully catch up with us later on.
Yeah.
That's the way that goes. Absolutely. Well, how you guys doing today?
We're doing good.
Yeah, everything's good. Got some nice weather.
Snow? You got any snow up that way?
There's just a little bit left on the ground, but it's melting because we're having extremely warm weather for this time of year.
Yes, we got about half an inch the other day. We had a nice little dusting. Just enough to cover the ground.
Still feel a little Christmas.
We're going to be almost 50 degrees for Christmas.
We need a little bit colder. Now, down here, we're in a deep freeze. It was like, it's going to be like 25 tonight. So it feels Christmassy down here without the snow, of course.
I think we sent you our weather for Christmas.
Sweater weather. Absolutely. Where's my sweater at, by the way? I gotta find that thing. Anyway. Hello, Kyle Smith. Girl in her gong has joined us. We're getting the full house starting slowly together here. Yes, sir. Tonight we're going to be talking about our Christmas memories from childhood and whatever. Whatever our memories take us is where we're going. We're going to be talking about that. And we want to share that later on in the program with everybody in the chat room. We want to hear from some of you about your Christmas memories as well. And we're going to have some special guests on tonight, hopefully. If nothing happens, we will have Miss Jessica Jones here tonight. And our other good friend, Barb Hartman. She will join us from No Drama, Bigfoot, and Cryptids.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All the way across the nation, actually. She's in Washington State, I think. Is that correct? I think I'm right.
Yes. She's in Washington.
Yep, she's not on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Bigfoot country indeed. That's what I told somebody not long ago. So if you don't find Bigfoot in Washington State, you're not gonna find him anywhere. Okay, definitely there. But I've run into that old rascal too. So you never know where you're gonna run into him at.
They're all
You
over.
had a good you have a good show the other night there, Gerald, with the ghost stories.
Yeah, me and Jane had Cisco Murdoch on from Journey Through the Gates with Cisco Murdoch, and she's always a good storyteller. She told 2 or 3 stories, and actually forgot that she had her own show scheduled that should have been after ours, so she was late to her own show because she wouldn't quit telling stories.
Yeah,
So
I
that
love
was
good
fun.
ghost stories. Sweet Pea is a new member of my membership thing. Welcome aboard, Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I
Sweet
love it. That is this is a ghost telling time of the year, by the way, for
Right.
ghost stories. And maybe I'll do the mistletoe ride for everybody after a while. And that's just one of my favorite ghost stories for this time of the year, especially.
Well,
This
what
is a
started
ghostly
ghost
time.
stories for Christmas?
Yeah.
Do you know the history behind why we have ghost stories at Christmas time?
Yeah, I do, but you might want to share that with the people out there. Go ahead.
No, I asked you if you knew why that, why did it become ghost stories at Christmas time?
Well, because this is supposed to be one of the times of the year when the veil is thinnest, and
Ah,
also it
okay.
goes back into pagan history that people believe their ancestors came back on Christmas night.
Okay.
Yeah, to visit with us, you might say.
Hmm.
They would actually sometimes set a extra place for them at the table as a commemoration to show, and they would actually. This is where you get the thing about leaving food out for Santa. You would actually
Ah.
give things, supposedly set things out for the spirits that were returning. Um, there's a great big connection between Christmas and Halloween. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference in them if you look at them the right way. Um, they used to would go about on Christmas with masks on and go from house to house looking for treats. What does that sound like? I don't like Halloween.
Mhm.
So it's still a lot of traditions, especially in Germany and places like Bavaria and places like that, where some of this stuff still goes on. That's where you get all this tie-in with the Krampus and the Christmas witch and Belsnickel and all this other stuff. The Yule lads and the Yule cat. That's Cheryl's favorite, by the way. The Yule cat goes around eating up people. Yeah. And then you have, of course, the Grilla, which is the Christmas witch. You see her in Big Red, you remember?
Yep.
The movie Big Red. And that was her pet cat. The Yule cat was her pet, by the way. And her sons were the Yule lads. So it's all tied. It's all a family thing. Okay. Absolutely. But that's why and I think you have the ghostly aspects of this time of the year because of that veil being thin. Supposedly, it's the time when your ancestors return for a visit.
Well,
Yeah, that
But
makes
it's
sense.
also a great time for families to sit around and entertain themselves. And they would do that by telling ghost stories by the fire. That was a
right.
big thing. So that's where
Yeah,
a lot of this tradition comes from.
I was just getting ready to share that. What better time than when it's dark outside, it gets darker in the evenings, and you got a fireplace and maybe candle lights. If you're back in the olden days, you'll have candle lit rooms, and you like to tell your kids ghost stories or scary stories. I mean, what better time? I mean, you can do it all year round because they used to tell ghost stories on the front porches back in the day, or sometimes the scary ones were on the back porch, the friendly ones were on the front porch. Depends on how your family or neighborhood was.
Oh yeah, and another thing about all this is really tied into death, darkness, and death, the dying time of the year. And if you did not have yourself ready for winter, you would probably not make it through the winter. That's the way these people lived. So they were always on the edge of death. They were always staring death in the face, no matter which way you look. If the crops failed or whatever went wrong, that could be the way it would unalive you, definitely. So you had that absolute thing about death going on all the time. That's why the Victorians embraced it so much, to that extent. You always had that factor of death, and and the darkest night of the year, which we had night before last, the darkest night of the year began that season of darkness that fell over the land, and you stayed inside. You didn't go out so much. So you definitely had to entertain yourself. You had to do something, sit around, make baskets, or talk, tell stories, pass down family histories, and all this other thing. But it also had that dark side to it too. The dark side of Christmas, the Christmas season, is absolutely there. And then the paganistic side of it, like the Yule. Yule is what the original name for it was, by the way. And you have the Yule log. You have, of course, like Gerald talked about, the Yule cat. You had different Yule type things, and commemorations of that as well. But it all ties into that and to Odin. Look at Odin. Odin actually looks a lot like Santa Claus when you look at him the right way. He was dressed all in furs. He went around as an old man looking and spying on people and doing and playing tricks on people and doing stuff like that. Sounds very much like Santa Claus. And of course, you get the Yule traditions, Santa and all that stuff from the Viking people, from the North people, as they were called. Actually, Viking is sort of a profession. There weren't really Vikings. They were called the North people because that was, of course, where they lived in the North. But they went Viking. In other words, when you went Viking, that meant you went pillaging villages and stuff like that. That was a profession. But we get a lot of our traditions from them. Look at all the days of the week and how many names they have, like Thursday for Thor's Day and Friday for Frida and all this stuff. So we get a lot of our traditions and stuff from the Norse people. It's amazing when you look at it.
Christmas time, especially the Christmas Carol, you have the three ghosts. You have the past, the present, and the future. Well, when we're together with family, we have the past, the present, and the future. We have our memories with our grandparents or our parents, and that could be your ghosts of Christmas past, your stories. You have the present right now with your family you're about celebrating this year. And the Christmas future is your children that are growing up and will have stories in the future to tell.
Yeah, of course, you had a lot of traditions that were trying to foresee the future. You had a lot of traditions and superstitions at this time of the year that supposedly gave you glimpses of the future. That's where your ghosts of the future, would come in. So this was a very mystical, magical time of the year, a very different time. It's another one of those seasons of the year, like Halloween, like Walpurgis Night, and all that. They do commemorate certain aspects of the season, but they also have their own attachments to them as well. It's very superstitious times of the year. Absolutely.
A lot of mystic and magical all going on at the same time.
Oh yeah. But like you say, along came Christianity though, and we could not change what people were doing, so we assimilated it. We brought it in, a lot of those traditions, into Christianity itself. And here's the strange thing about it. Although Christmas will commemorating the birth of Christ, nobody even knows when he was born, really. I mean, to this day, we've never. I think it was in early spring or late spring, because according to the Bible story, they were in the fields watching their flocks, so they would not have been out in the winter doing that. They would have been, you know, doing other pursuits. So it had to be early spring or late spring, almost summer, when Jesus was born. Actually, but they took this date because it was so venerated as the winter solstice, and the Romans celebrated it, the Greeks celebrated it. This traditions of this day goes way, way, way back, thousands of years back into history. So they said, we can't, stamp this out, and we can't take it over. Let's just, go ahead and put our date on it. and do that way. That's the way. That's what happened with Christianity putting Christmas where it's at. Christmas, of course, means the Christ Mass, the Mass of Christ. That's in other words, the celebration of Christ. It is a very holy day, but it is also a pagan day if you look at it that way. But I don't commemorate it that way my own self. I look upon it as being one of the holiest days of the year in the religious cycle. It is the holiest day of all. But it has also ramifications like that of the paganistic parts. But we don't celebrate that in Christianity as part of them. So it's a big difference. But yet they're similar in the way they go about it.
Yeah, our chat's flying by. I've been trying to read everybody's what they're saying in chat, and everybody's saying Merry Christmas and hi to everybody. And
yeah, we're starting to fill up here. Hello, Kyle Smith. Good to have you here, brother. Go back and look to see if I've written a check on my button. we having some interesting discussions going on here. Ronald Gaunt said, I spent Christmas in the graveyard in France. Oh, okay. Well, when I was younger. That is an interesting place. I have been in a couple of graveyards at Christmas, but that's another story. But anyway, I have spent a lot of time in cemeteries. Absolutely. Had a lot of investigations and stuff in them. And they're quiet places. Usually nobody there to bother you. Nobody living anyway.
Right.
Oh, Spanish spending in a haunted French bed and breakfast. That sounds interesting.
Wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I spent a night in a haunted bed and breakfast in Charleston, South Carolina. It was interesting. Supposedly there was a ghost on the stairs, and you could hear something on the stairs, but you couldn't see anything. But it sounded like somebody walking down the stairs. It was an interesting night.
Oh my.
Well, actually, this guy supposedly had been in a duel. They had a lot of duels back in the old days. Had disagreements, you shot it out with somebody else. But anyway, he got shot in the duel and made it back to the bed, but he died on the stairs.
No.
Wow.
Yep.
See, if I want Christmas ghosts, I want them to bring me like candies and gifts and sweets and.
I don't know.
That's my Christmas ghost.
Would have to be the Christmas, the ghost of Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
With a T. Presents.
That's right.
But anyway.
We want presents.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, the scary one was definitely the Ghost of Christmas Future. That looked like death. Actually, it looked like the Grim Reaper. Yeah.
Well, I think
The interesting thing about that story, which is one of my favorite Christmas stories, the Christmas Carol, was actually Save Christmas. Christmas was going out of style. It was just becoming just nothing but simply a church, church service, and that was it. It was going out of style. It wasn't being celebrated as much. It was going down, and he brought it back. He brought back the old traditions. He brought back a lot of the memories for a lot of people, and they said, hey, Christmas, we need to bring Christmas back. It was fun, And so this Charles Dickens actually saved Christmas.
Yeah, they were getting ready they were already probably out of practice or getting ready to be to give up that holiday until that book came out.
Wow.
And Charles Dickens tried to hit it again. He did several other ghost stories, but none of them could ever touch A Christmas Carol. That was it. That was a one-time thing here. And although he tried to do that, so he tried to recreate it several times, it didn't work out that way.
No, he couldn't match the Christmas Carol. It was too good.
Funny thing, a lot of people don't know it, but Charles Dickens and Edgar Allan Poe were good friends. And Charles Dickens had a pet crow, had a pet raven, actually. I'm sorry, not a crow, but a raven. And his name was Gip. I think his name was Gip or Grip or something like that. And Edgar Allan Poe heard about that, the pet raven, he said, and that's where he got the idea for the raven at.
Wow.
So you had two great writers unknowingly contributing to something very great. That's wild to think about it. But they were very good friends, actually. And you can go to the Charles Dickens Museum in England and actually see that raven stuffed on display, by the way.
Wow. That'd be interesting.
Yep.
Do they have the notes or the pages of the Christmas Carol, the originals there?
And by the way, there is a connection with Edgar Allan Poe and Bram Stoker. That Bram Stoker actually met Walt Whitman, and Walt Whitman was another friend of Edgar Allan Poe's. So that had to be an interesting conversation. I'm sure Poe came up in that. So Poe got around even after he was dead. He did pretty good. But wouldn't you know he would, right? He definitely would do that. I complained earlier about my counterfeit Danish cookies that are subpar, missing the sugar on top. That's right. Some of them do not have the sugar coating on top. They're not Danish cookies.
Well, I think everybody's cutting back.
They're like sugar flakes on top of it.
Yeah. All our favorite candies and stuff that we buy, they've cut back and changed it, and
they're small.
Saving money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everything's getting that way. Have you noticed that, Jane?
Everything's smaller.
The food don't taste like it did before. I mean, they're doing something to it. And the quantities are changing. I noticed the other day, hot dog buns now are about like that. I mean,
yeah.
Look what happened with that.
Everything's a little bit smaller.
Yeah. It's crazy.
They think we wouldn't have noticed, but we noticed.
Yeah, but we can't do nothing about it except not buy it.
Yeah, we can't do anything about it.
I think they're messing with the recipes on some of this stuff.
They are.
Things are not tasting the way they used to. They have a different taste.
Yeah, I think they're messing with the formulas and substituting other ingredients instead of the ones that we were used to.
Yeah. They're trying to pull something on us here. I don't know what, but that's like with lab grown meat and all this other junk that they're trying to bring.
You don't get 5 pounds of sugar; it's 4 pounds.
Yeah. Well, it used to be. I don't know if you know this or not. You remember the big containers of water that used to put in the the water machines?
Mm-hmm.
They used to be what, 5 gallons. You know what they are? You know what they are now? They're 4 gallons.
Oh,
I just
wow.
happened to see that the other day, and I said, what happened to the other? You're missing a gallon on it because they used to be 5-gallon containers.
Right.
Wow.
That's what they're doing. They're cheating us, actually, trying to slip one past us, I think. Girl in the gone said that's why I cook homemade. Well, yeah, it pays to do that. It absolutely does. But I tell you what, this is like that's like McDonald's, okay? And here's the thing about this kind of food. Gerald and I talked about this the other day. This stuff is convenient. That's why we buy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's convenient because we don't want to go home and cook. That's why we
Right.
buy it, and we want it right. We get hungry and we want it right then, and
Yep.
that's how they make their money. Okay, that's what they're there for. But it's not real food. It's fake food. It's not real stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you say. It's not the real stuff.
It don't taste the same as years ago.
Well, there's a woman. Actually, did you see that on I think it was on YouTube with this woman. Like they had a McDonald's burger wrapped up for 25 years, and they took that thing out, and it was just still. It looked like it had not changed a bit in 25 years.
I've
That's
heard that about
wild. I mean,
Twinkies too.
yeah. Come on, my gosh. But I tell you what, here's the thing about it. Okay, this is weird, but you can try this sometime. Some food like that stuff, McDonald's food, you can leave it laying out and insects won't even bother it.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
They're not gonna mess with it. They're not gonna touch it. That's wild.
Oreos won't burn.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably lots of chemicals in some foods that won't burn.
Wow.
They are more chemicals than food, actually, is what it is.
Yep.
You can make toothpaste with baking soda. That is, and coconut oil. That does make very good toothpaste, by the way. And it really whitens your teeth. Very good. And a little peroxide in it, too. Just a little.
Yep.
Will actually do it, too. Yeah. I used to play with peroxide when I was a kid, get it to bubble up and do things,
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like a lab thing. Yes, I was a junior mad scientist in my day. I never had a monster, though. I was working on it. But anyway, definitely. I always use baking soda and everything. Baking soda is good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of purposes for baking soda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can make a deodorant out of baking soda and coconut oil as well. Yeah.
We used to have those little boats that you'd put baking soda in for the fuel.
Oh, yeah. I remember that, yeah.
Yep. Urso just said about the submarines that used to put the baking soda in. Same purpose, same thing.
Yep, I remember this. That's another childhood memory, rather.
Yep.
I'm watching the chat room. So far, we haven't been infiltrated by aliens yet. I don't think.
Not yet.
I don't think.
As far as I know.
But you never know.
If one shows up, Gone Girl will get him.
He's on the job. She got her aliens up already.
Welcome, Susan.
So we need to ask the chat be thinking about some childhood or good Christmas memories that they had in case we want to pop them up on screen later.
Yeah.
You need to start thinking about those childhood memories now. We're going to be sharing those later on, so you better dredge them up here and clean them off and get them out here ready for public inspection.
Yep.
Scottish mincemeat pie.
Blow the dust off of them and get the moths out and remember those Christmas memories.
Mincemeat pie, yeah. I tell you what, I like wassail. Well, that stuff's good. No wonder people were going wassailing.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Here
See
we
how
go.
many houses? See how many houses we can hit. You know. Yep.
So that's where wassailing comes from. Here we go, wassailing amongst the leaves of green. Now we got more aliens in chat.
Oh,
I like that song. You know, that song says we won't go till we get some. You know.
That's right.
That's kind of, intimidating and kind of, blackmailing people. We're not going to leave till you get us what we want.
Right. You got to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Christmas mafia.
I think that's called extortion, but something like that. But we're going to be sharing memories here with our guests and all that. Let's see, it's 8:30 already. I think Jessica's a little late. We're going to have Jessica Jones on at 8:30. And it's 8:34. And I think she's going to be a little late tonight. And so we'll see what happens with that.
Hope she didn't run into a Yule cat or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. She probably would put up a fight, though. Yule cat messes with Jessica. You might, think twice about that.
We'll have to ask her if she had to battle a Yule cat on the way here.
Or messing with portals.
Or maybe there was a bunch of Yule lads in the mall.
Oh, I watched Red One again last night, by the way. That was a good movie. It was pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Sweet Pea says, when I was 6, I peeked into the living room, thought I saw little gnomes. I ran so fast and knocked myself out on a door frame.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Oh, you saw Santa's bells, probably.
Oh.
You saw stars after that, though. Explains a lot. I needed glasses. That's what she said. Okay.
I'd like to hear somebody's story if they ever found a Santa sleigh bell like in Polar Express. I want to hear somebody's story like that.
Well, I'm gonna tell later on tonight my own experience with that weird thing that happened to me one Christmas Eve. That's my spooky story, and I'm gonna tell it later on tonight. It is a wild story. Hang on for that one, folks.
Wow.
Kyle Smith said hog brains. Hate to bring it to right after dinner. People used to eat hog brains, actually. Yeah.
Oh, they used to. I mean, back on the farm, you had, like, my mom and dad came out of the Depression. They were kids during the Depression and growing up, and
they had brains and eggs.
Families processed every bit of the animal. When they butchered hogs or cows, they didn't throw hardly anything away. The bones were made for broth. And
Kyle said he had to go out and hurl when he found out he was eating brains. I tried them one time. You know me, I'll try anything once. I tried them one time. It just wasn't my cup of tea, okay? Nope. That's that and the pickled pig feet. I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Laser
mom.
says,
Yeah.
Laser says I had a plastic bear trap.
I just
called a
read
Santa trap. You're trying to catch Santa with it, okay?
that.
It says my dad left his boot in when I'm 1 year. Okay. With a note, keep trying. You almost got me. Okay. Yeah. I like that other movie, you know, the one with Kurt Russell. You know, what's the name of that?
Yeah.
The Christmas
Santa
story?
Chronicles.
Christmas Chronicles. And
Yeah.
she does she goes full out ghost investigation on Santa to catch him, you know. That was neat.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie. The second one was terrible. Yeah,
It wasn't
terrible.
very good. I mean, I liked
And
it for the characters, but the plot and the story
the
wasn't
first
very good.
best. Yeah, the first was the best. The book, by the way, was not all that good. The book that it's based on, yeah, the movie is a whole lot better than the book, believe it or not. I use fruitcake as a door starter. I have a theory about fruitcake. Okay? I think that there's one fruitcake, only one, and it's just getting passed around the world. Yeah. And for hundreds of years, this fruitcake's been going around. Okay. But here's the weird thing. I like homemade fruitcake. It's delicious. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, if you can
Yeah.
if you have a relative or an aunt or grandma that makes fresh fruitcake, then it's good. But if you get the store bought and stuff, nah.
It's a
Some of the
hockey
best.
puck.
That's some of the best cake you can have right there, buddy. When it's done right. But now that they sell in that block, I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Hey, we
You
have
got
the
a
cricket
special
hunter.
guest popping in.
Jessica.
Hello. All right. Let me bring this young lady on here. Hold on a minute.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I think he clicked the wrong thing.
Dennis hit the wrong button.
I guess it's me and you.
Well,
Here we go.
We're in control now.
I gotta adjust my arrow so that I can get it, Jessica.
There we
Here
go.
she is.
Yay.
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
There
happy.
you go. Yeah, Merry Christmas, y'all.
Lord.
Merry Christmas.
Did you hit a headwind coming out of Atlanta?
Oh man, yeah. I'm full of Christmas cheer right now. Let me tell you, it was wild. Yeah, I had a sick kid for the past couple of days, so it pushed me back. I wasn't able to do my Christmas shopping, and so I had to fit it all in after my show today. Between now and I drove back over an hour and a half to get here to do this.
Wow.
With you guys. I still need to go back out and do some more shopping after this is done. So with you guys.
We were going to ask if you had to battle a Yule cat or ran into any Yule lads in the mall or anything today.
Oh gosh, no. I went to Bass Pro Shops actually. So
nice.
secrets out. Everybody's getting Bass Pro Shop stuff in my family this year. Okay.
Ooh, all right. That's like the perfect gift.
Right. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe I am. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I don't think many of my family members watch my shows, so we're fine. We're safe. Yeah, it was actually a pretty good time though. We had a great time, and Ben went with me, and we met up with a good friend of mine from a long time way back when, and we had a good time. That's a fun store to shop in if you're going Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
It is.
Who doesn't need a new gun or a knife?
I know, right?
Or winter boots.
Flashlights. Yeah. Headlamps. fishing tackle boxes, whatever, you
right.
know,
There you go.
overalls. I know, man. I mean, I could spend a week in there and just,
You
I'd
could
have a good time.
You could put a whole Bigfoot kit together for the outdoors. I mean, you can get everything there.
Yeah. You could. If I could have, I would have tried on every set of overalls and jacket and everything they had there. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Ben had fun. He actually got he did get a couple of guns. We're about to wrap them up and put them under the tree tonight. So
Nice.
yeah, I let him pick out some gifts this year.
All right.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bass Pro Shop needs a Sasquatch section.
Sounds like fun.
Well, you know, that's actually why I went. Okay, so I went because they had all these. Actually, I have on a Bigfoot shirt. Well, I don't want to feel like I'm, you know, like I have my Bigfoot shirt. This actually came from, you saw it here, world exclusive. Jessica pulls her shirt up. Yes.
Shoulder Bigfoot.
Well, Christmas surprise.
There we go. Free show.
I got that there.
Free show.
So
There we go.
I guess I'll show
Oh,
mine.
yeah.
I got a squirrel.
oh, I like yours better. I like yours the best.
We've been talking about Christmas memories tonight, and you said you had a spooky one you wanted to share with us, huh?
Oh my gosh, I do. I do. It's actually kind of it's scary. It's weird. It's really odd. Okay, you know, when I was a kid, we used to go to my grandparents' home. This was on Christmas Eve, actually. We had something that happened, and it was quite tragic, actually. So I'm kind of hesitant to talk about it. I haven't really talked about it publicly before. But it was before my brother was born, and I had to have been about, I don't know, 6, maybe. I was probably 6 or 7, I guess, years old, and we would have Christmas Eve dinner at my maternal side grandparents' house, and they lived about 45 minutes away, and we had to pass through this little town called we call it Villarica, Georgia, and I just drove through there just a few minutes ago, actually, and we passed. We were coming home from there. We were really looking forward. My sister and I were looking forward to Santa Claus coming to the house that night, and so we were ready to get home. Okay, we gone, had our dinner, and opened gifts at their house, my grandparents. We wanted to get home, and as we were driving through Villarica, we noticed that there was a woman sitting on the train. Her car was sitting on the train tracks in downtown Villarica, and her car had broken down, and it was on the railroad tracks of all places. And we drove past, and my dad kind of looked over and thought, "Man, is her car broken down?" You know, and he and my mom sat there for a minute, and were like, as we passed her, my dad was like, "We got to pull over and help. You know, we got to help this lady." And so he pulled our vehicle over to right in front of the police station, actually. And this is a small town. There's not a whole lot of, now there's a lot of cops around. They're everywhere. But back then there wasn't a whole lot going on there in this downtown district. And he pulled the car over, and my mom and my sister and I stayed in the car, and my dad walked over to that woman. You know, my dad was a race car driver, professional race car driver. He knows a car inside out, every car. And he knew that he could help her at least get the car off the tracks. Okay. And so he walked over to her. We saw him walk over to her, and he asked her for her keys. And right as he got over to where she was, and he was asking her for her keys, we heard a train horn.
Oh.
And the woman panicked, completely panicked, and she couldn't think straight. And my dad was like trying to get her keys from her, and she wouldn't give him the keys. And my dad saw that he looked in the car to see if she had anybody else in there. She had a German Shepherd in her back seat. And my dad opened up the door, and he was trying just to kick it into neutral, you know, without cranking it up or whatever, trying to do anything to like get it off the tracks, trying to push it. And there was nobody else there to help. It was just us. And the train kept getting closer and closer. And my sister and I remember my mom took us, and we ran over to she was holding my sister. She was a little baby. We ran over to the police station. My mom was banging on the door to try to get help before that woman's car got hit. And so I know this is a Debbie Downer story, y'all. I'm sorry. I know it is, but it was really wild. And my dad was still trying to get that lady to give him her key so he could try to do something to get the car in neutral. And he had the train was coming so fast that it was a miracle that my dad even got away from it. And
Sure.
he grabbed the woman's my dad grabbed her German Shepherd right before the train hit her car. And the train hit it. And we all sat there and just watched it. And by that time, I think a couple of other people had stopped to try to help too. But it was kind of late at night, and it was Christmas Eve. And it was something I will never forget, ever. We watched a car get hit by a train that night. And but the lady was safe. My dad saved the dog and her too, really. Because she was so panicked. Like, she didn't, a lot of people will freeze when something happens like that, and they don't know what to do. It's like they can't believe these things are happening to them, and this can't be real. And so thank goodness my dad was there to kind of get her out of there. And yeah, that was actually. I mean, I have good memories of Christmas too, y'all. I do.
Well, he was definitely in the right place at the right time. Absolutely, for that to be able to help that lady. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were also worried that people, like the engineer or anyone in the train, was going to be hurt and everything. I mean, it was an explosion. It was wild. It was like watching a movie happening right there in front of us as a kid. Yeah. So yeah, that's
like that old proverbial thing, watching a train wreck. You can't turn away. You can't stop watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually seen a train wreck. So yeah, I know how that is in real life, for real. It was devastating, but I was just worried about getting home. I thought Santa Claus was going to fly over our house, and we were not going to be home, and he was going to skip us. Okay, so that's what I remember being really worried about that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but he came. He brought toys.
The train wasn't the Polar Express or anything, was it?
Not. No, it was wild. Just the sheer force of a train.
Jessica standing there saying, let's get this train wreck over. We got to get home for Santa. You're okay.
That's right.
Yes, Santa is going to skip over our house, Mom and Dad. Yeah. Well, we lived so far out in the country. I lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and we would come home on Christmas Eve, and a lot of times there would be a red light out in our garden, way down, a half mile from the house. There'd be a red light out there, and so we always assumed that was Rudolph out there when we come home. Yeah, red lights.
So what was that red light?
It was Rudolph. It was Rudolph. I've got Ben right here beside me, so he knows all about Rudolph. Yeah,
awesome.
So. I think it was Rudolph. We'd hear bells and stuff, and sound like Santa was walking on our roof at night when we were kids. Bells and footsteps on the roof when I was a kid. So, yeah, looking back, I was like, man, it was a mix between being terrified that a strange man was going to be breaking in our home that night, and knowing that I was going to be getting a bunch of toys the next day. So I was happy. So.
Well, when I was a kid, we found 2 gray hairs inside the eggnog cup the next morning.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes. Us kids were going, whoa. I mean, they were gray hairs inside that cup. So we just kind of went, he was here.
Oh, yeah. We woke up one morning and there was a footprint in the burnt logs in our fireplace.
Ooh.
So you could see where Santa's foot had gone. So he'd fallen through the chimney, gone down there, and his foot.
Oh.
Well, I tell you what, over the years, I have funneled thousands. You would not believe how many sightings of Santa there have been over the years. It's amazing. The stuff that's that supposedly is going on out there.
Well, we track Santa every year.
Yeah.
Well, I had my own experience. And I'm going to tell about that later on tonight. But I had my own experience that kind of made me a believer and that there is something else to this thing about Santa that we may be overlooking. But I have to wonder if he's not definitely paranormal. Absolutely.
Yeah. Every Christmas since Ben was born, we've tracked Santa on is it NORAD? I think it's
Yes,
like the
NORAD.
NORAD tracker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We
it
did that last year live.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that. You guys had an
NORAD.
all-night Christmas special.
Yeah.
NORAD.
Yeah,
I
like
got it.
almost
Yeah.
8 hours, I think.
Yeah, we were tracking Santa that night. It was so much fun.
If you, we were talking about that earlier, Jessica. If you haven't seen Red One, you need to watch that movie. It is great movie. If you haven't seen it,
No, I haven't seen it. I've not heard of
Great.
it.
Yeah, the Rock's in it.
Okay.
Yeah, Santa
yeah,
Claus
it's
gets
real.
kidnapped.
And the other guy
Oh,
that
no.
plays the guy that plays Captain America, what's his name? I can't think of his name at all. The one that plays Captain America in the Marvel movies, he's
Oh,
in
no.
it too. Chris something, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, it's a great movie. Red One is code name for Santa. Red One.
Chris Evans.
Mm.
And it's on Amazon Prime on Prime Movies
But
if you have Amazon.
Yeah, if you got Amazon Prime, you can watch it. It's got Krampus, it's got the Christmas witch in it, it's got the Yule lads, got the whole works.
That sounds good. You know, we usually watch Krampus every year. That's our go-to.
We have Miss Barb Hartman with us here. I wonder if I could add somebody else to the stage. Let me try it.
There we go. Look at that.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Jessica, I've never been on a broadcast with you. I'm so excited and honored.
Oh, hi, Barb. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
this is
too.
exciting.
Yeah. So how's everybody tonight? And thank you all for having me.
Well,
Oh, thank you for coming. We wouldn't expect any more. We have you and Jessica, our favorite people. And we thought, you know what? This would be a good time to bring them on and tell some Christmas memories.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I'm on time, right? I'm not late. Okay, good. Because my daughter, I told her, I said, look up the link. And she's like, Mom, they're already on there. So there's like a bunch of people talking. And I'm like, oh no. But no, it was 9 p.m. Eastern, right? Is that okay?
Yeah, we just tried to space it out a little bit
Yep.
so you guys can have your individual time and actually meet each other. And
makes sense.
yeah,
Makes sense. I was on Brian Bland, the Pork and Bean show. I was on his show this morning and kind of the same format. So it's good. So hi everybody. Oh, Kyle. I'm looking at the chat. Tammy. Oh my gosh, this is great. Sweet pea. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. We got a big chat going right now.
Yeah, you do. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, hi everybody. All right. So what are we going to talk? What are we talking about? I didn't mean to come in and like take the show over. Here's what we're going to do now.
Well, we were going to have you sing some Christmas carols and
I have to go. Well, let me see. How long would it take me to drink a bottle of wine? However long that would be, then I'll come back and you'll be like, oh, mute her mic, somebody.
now we were just talking Christmas memories, and Jessica shared one that was kind of a scary moment while she was growing up. And so we're just telling memories that we remember of Christmas.
Wait, I want to hear what that was. Oh, can you retell it like a abbreviated version for the new people that just joined us? They probably want to hear it. But I want to hear that.
Yeah, it's kind of a Debbie Downer story actually, but it's when I was a little kid and my sister was just a little baby, and my mom and dad, my sister and I, we were driving home from my grandparents' house on Christmas Eve after our celebration, going to our farmhouse where we live. We passed through a little small town, and I told about a woman's car being stalled out on the railroad tracks. And we passed by, and my dad pulled the car over to help, and a train showed up, and my dad barely got her German Shepherd out of the back seat of the car before the train hit it.
Oh my God.
And that's like my clearest, most crazy memory that I had of Christmas as a kid was that happening.
But
as a kid. Nobody got hurt. No, nobody got hurt. But it was
that's
just a weird story. Yeah, it's kind of odd.
That must have been real. I can't imagine though how traumatic that was. Like to be there, and thank God that everybody was okay. And your dad got the dog out?
Yes. The woman and the dog. The woman had lost her marbles and couldn't give her. She couldn't figure out how to give him her car keys. To help move the car. It was wild. It was just a wild night. But like I was telling them, I do have good memories of Christmas too. I promise. I really do. But that was just a wild one.
Yeah, so I think when if you're all, there's two memories that I think about. And isn't it, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that does this. Let me know if I am. When you go back to a memory and then it's like you kind of ruminate in the memory, and kind of think about it. I do anyway, and think about, is there something that I'm forgetting more? But then there's also, and that was, let me see, the first one was when I was probably 3. I know I was not quite 4, probably 3.5. Then there's another one when I was in first grade. So however old you are then. But isn't it weird that those are the two memories? Now, the one was when I was in first grade. I'll tell you guys that one first. Because it was the last Christmas that I had all my grandparents. I had 3 grandparents that because my paternal grandfather had already passed away when I was adopted. But that was the last Christmas that there was everybody together because my grandmother died. And then, that within the year, then within another year, my other grandmother died. My grandfather was with us, fortunately, for a while. But it was snowing that night. And I lived in Pennsylvania. And like I said, I was first grade. And it was really big, bad snowstorm. And I was so excited for my grandparents to come the next day. My grandfather and his wife, my grandmother and my other grandmother, they lived in the same town. So they would all come together. And I was scared though that it was snowing so hard because I'm thinking they're not going to make it here because it was, like it was bad and the snow's piling up. So, and then I also had an appointment to go get my ears pierced. And like, it was such a big deal then. Like I had to make a doctor appointment. So I went to the doctors and they did it. So kind of that's exciting. But then this same night, right? When I came home from getting my ears pierced, my grandparents were there. They had come early so that they didn't, so they knew that they could make it. So they, could be there and not miss Christmas. And that was so cool to me because they had never slept over because they lived not even an hour. So, so they all slept over and it was just the coolest thing to me.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
cute.
it's a weird. And the other thing I remember is that year my mom put lemon flavor in the chocolate chip cookies. And that was like, really? That's terrible.
Oh.
But, yeah, so a lot of good stuff, but that's funny. The other one is this is a lot shorter because I know that I was not quite 4. Because we moved into our new house. Well, back then, when I was 4, and this was in our old house, which was only a block away from the new one. So this was also snowing heavily, and there was a Santa that came around, and he was in a big sleigh, and they were like pulling him. But I don't remember if I feel like they were pulling him with a big tractor, but that I'm not sure about. And I wish that I wish I could ask somebody now, because I don't know. On one hand, I think it was a team of horses, but I don't know. And then on the other hand, it was a tractor. But it was just so neat because it was like a huge sleigh. I was like, oh, this is really Santa, And then I would think about that as I aged, and when I still, and I thought, is that the real Santa? Like maybe it was, right? Like he came on a sleigh. So that's my favorite one.
Well, thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Neat.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was one horse open sleigh thing.
Yeah, I really, gosh, isn't it weird when you you're the last person left in a memory, and then I think, you think about something like, oh, I wish I had somebody to ask, but I don't, because I would really like to know what was pulling that sleigh. I don't think it was reindeer. I don't remember that. That would have been definitely a real Santa.
Right.
So, how's everybody? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dr. Carol. Go ahead.
It's amazing that I was thinking about this the other day, that actually they can domesticate deer to actually pull sleighs and stuff. It is fascinating. The reindeer are very big deer too. They're not little things like we think. In the poem, they're little. They're actually very big animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that. So, if Santa is real, that would show to me that if the reindeers are portrayed as like small, then he's probably larger than life also, if his reindeer appears small to him, right?
Yep.
Maybe Santa's a Yeti.
Maybe he's a giant.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. He could be.
Yeah. All we know, he's got a white
Could
beard.
be. That's what I was saying that earlier before you came on, Barb. That every year there are thousands and thousands of reports of people who actually see Santa, supposedly. And you have to wonder about, even if just one of these is correct, out of all these thousands, if just one that there is, then definitely something like a Santa Claus. But here's the thing about it, and we've talked about this before over the years, that maybe we have created Santa. Maybe we have manifested him, and now that he is a real person. Yeah.
And I want to manifest some gifts.
Yeah.
What is that when you manifest it and it becomes like a thought form?
A thought form?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a tulpa, they call them. A
tulpa.
tulpa.
Yeah, that's
is a thought form.
Yes. Yeah.
Something you bring to life. Yeah.
Right.
By mere thought or wanting or wishing it. In other words, wishes can be very supposedly powerful things sometimes, and bring about certain things. Like that old saying, "Be careful what you wish for."
Right.
You might get it. Maybe we got Santa, maybe we got Santa, but if that's the case, then I need to talk to him about my presents and where they're at, what's going on with that? Well, maybe I'm on the list, the bad list, and I didn't know it.
I want the Christmas presents that I was supposed to get that I wished for as a kid and never got. I want those delivered. I want them brought.
I saw a movie like that one time. I can't remember what the movie was, but it was like he actually took somebody in the toy shop and said, "Look at all these presents. This is what you didn't get because you quit believing."
Oh, I feel like I know that. What was that movie? Does any?
I don't know.
What was that? I think that was The Night They Saved Christmas was the name of that movie.
Okay. That
like
could be, yeah, because I remember seeing that.
I wanna hear a time slip Santa Christmas story. Like, how families usually have like one family member, like Uncle Billy dresses up as Santa and goes visits the family for the kids or something. Well, what if Uncle Billy got delayed or got caught behind a train and couldn't get by, and a Santa showed up? Would that, maybe that was the real Santa?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
You guys.
I'll tell you right quick what happened to me one Christmas Eve. It was the freakiest thing that ever happened. One of the weirdest things that's ever happened to me. It was one dark, rainy Christmas Eve. I was home alone. I was sitting home alone. I heard a noise outside. Well, I immediately thought it was, some drunk is probably hitting my fence or something out there or something, because it was a loud noise. So I got up and I took the flashlight and I went outside, and the fence was okay. And I heard something around towards the back of the house. Now, the back of my house had an old shed. It had an old tin top shed like that was back there. And there was no street light back there. But I saw something rather large sitting on top of this shed. There shouldn't have been anything on it.
Oh my gosh.
And honest to God, I cannot tell you to this day what this was, but it was a very large silhouette of something up on top of this shed. And I started on back there, and I had to go down the steps. And when I went down the steps, I was below the top of the shed. I couldn't see the shed. I couldn't see the top. So I went around to the side of the shed, and about the time I did, whatever was on top of the shed took off of the top of the shed. And it made a noise, and it was just gone up in the air. Just that quick.
Wow.
And honest to God, I swear, I'm no kidding, that I thought I heard bells. And there was a flash or something red like.
Whoa.
Here's the end of my story. What this was, I cannot tell you what to this day. Some people say I was a flock of birds, but birds don't fly at night. Okay.
Right.
I don't know what this was.
Wow.
I do not to this day know what that was on top of that shed. But I went up the next morning. I remember doing this. Next morning I took a ladder and I went up there and looked. And up on top of this thing were these two marks. They went across, in the tin. They went across the top of this shed, like very much like sleigh marks.
Wow.
Gosh.
Would be.
Wow.
And that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
So do you think
I
that
don't
the
know what that
sleigh
was.
potentially, do you think that could have been Santa and the sleigh just came by and picked him up, or what? Is that what you're
That's
thinking?
a possibility. Isn't it? Like something
Yeah.
sit down on that shed. That's what made the noise. And then it made another noise taking off of the shed like that. That was the weird part.
Wow. That's really cool. That's cool.
That was very strange. To this day, though, every Christmas Eve, I keep watching, hoping I can catch another glimpse of whatever that was. I kind of have a vigilante thing going on that.
I just saw Tammy Johnson's, because I'm sorry guys, I just turned on the chat and I saw Tammy Johnson's question about Barb, how's your clan? Do you put any lights on the trees outside for them? We have some lights outside, and we have these lights that kind of they're supposed to be like mimic snowflakes, and they're shining into the woods. So we have those going too, and so it's kind of something that we've done anyway, but there are things that we would put in the woods, like because we can see them again out of our family room. So we had these lit deer, white lit deer for Christmas, and then there was this little silhouette of a horse and buggy. And I said to my husband, don't put those out there, because I feel like that's too much for them. Like that's going to either upset them or keep them away, because it really is. It's kind of right where I feel like
they might not like the bright lights.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what kind of gifts would Barb, you and Jessica, what kind of gifts, Christmas gifts, would you get your clan or your Sasquatch that you have?
Are you talking about real Bigfoots?
Yeah.
I don't gift Bigfoots at all. No, I don't gift them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't. Because I mean, what I have done in the past is I have, they don't like, give them like a bag of oranges, they don't like oranges, give them a bag of apples. And that was cool. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Peanuts. And they were peanuts that were not, you had to take them out of the shell. And all of the peanut shells were like right there in a nice little pile. And this was a big bag of peanuts. And then one more thing. Oh, French bread. And they took it and it was completely gone. And I thought, oh, who knows? Anything could have taken this and eaten it, right? Could have been a dog, could have been a deer, whatever. But 2 days later, when I went back out, it was the bag was there. It was folded in half and with a rock on top of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so that
Wow.
was really cool. But I don't, I don't gift them or feed them regularly. That what I was describing is over like a 2-year period, because I just you want it to be, if it is a gift, it has to be a gift,
Right.
Not not a regular.
So just an imaginary thing. If you were going to give a gift to Bigfoot, whether it was clothing or something unique or funny, what would you guys give Bigfoot?
Man. I don't know. Maybe the gift of my presence. I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding.
Right?
I'm kidding.
You never know. Bigfoot
I'm
might
totally
be a new
kidding.
flannel
Okay.
shirt for Christmas.
Yes, I would. You know what? Maybe some twinkle lights. Like what I always do when I'm out when we're out in the woods. I like to draw attention to my tent at night, so that they'll come into our base camp and know we're out there. So no matter how far out in the middle of nowhere I am, I usually take my battery powered twinkle lights, like my Christmas lights, and it's year round, and I put them above my tent, and it has just a little clicker that you hold the little device, you click it, and they turn on and they blink, or they can be just not blinking, and they dance. There's all sorts of cool stuff they do, and I would probably give them those because I think that they do call them in. It makes everything out in the woods pay attention to what we're doing over there.
Wow.
So probably
you
that.
go.
I give them some twinkle lights. Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I thought about a hairbrush.
It'd probably have to be a 70s pick, one of those.
Let's
Yeah.
have Bigfoot show up one night, turn the lights off. I turn the lights off. Say, hey, we kind of sleep out here, Jessica. So turn the lights off.
Yeah. Or even glow sticks would be kind of something cool to give them too.
Oh yeah.
I think Daryl Denton was talking about how he gave them some whistles. He gave some Bigfoot some whistles. He left some whistles in the trees, and when he would go back to that spot, he would hear whistles in the woods where they would whistle at him to let him know he was there using those whistles that he had left there.
See, I tried that last year. None of my whistles disappeared, but I'm gonna go ahead and try again next year. But yeah, I bought a bunch of little brass whistles and nothing was taken. Some of it got moved in different spots and stuff on that table, but nothing was taken. Wow. Interesting. So the only gift we're doing is we got the goat Christmas tree from last year out of the barn, and we put the little Christmas tree out in the garden. So we lit it up so they can see it. It's right there at the edge of our backyard, right by the field. So anything out there can probably see this little cute little Christmas tree. The neighbors probably think I'm crazy. Like, why does she have a tree in her garden?
Or they think it's cute when they see it. I would.
It does look cute out there, but on the camera, it looks like a white blob.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What about you, Barb? What would you actually, if you can gift them something special, what would you gift them?
Oh, I don't know. Like maybe a video camera. And then can you please take pictures of yourselves that aren't blurry?
Either that or they'd probably take pictures of this and show their friends. See, I told you they were real.
Yeah.
I'd be happy if you leave me some gold and frankincense or something out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Leave me some gold, Bigfoot.
I guess like tobacco, don't they say? Which I feel like that's not responsible though. But
of people
everybody
I
like
think
it.
they use
Tobacco.
it. I think they say for medicinal purposes. They use
Oh,
tobacco.
okay.
Not to smoke it or anything,
Yeah.
but it's part of a medicine.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
heard
know.
they like tobacco.
Yeah. So that's
I don't know. If I were Bigfoot, I'd be happy with an apple or an orange or something.
Yeah,
I think fruit.
they don't
would be
like
what would do it
oranges.
for
They
me.
had taken, there was like, I can't say it was a bite. There was a portion out of one. It could have been a bite, but it certainly, I don't know,
I bet it was bitter.
Yeah, and that was it. They didn't like not a flavor, I guess that is. But if you think about it, like if you're not, used to eating a citrus fruit,
Right.
they are very
that's true.
bitter.
Yeah. You guys,
a lot of reports. A lot of reports getting apples off trees and places like that where the pear trees and regular apple trees. That would be a big draw, I think, more so than an orange, actually.
Hey, you guys, I'm really sorry, but I've got to run. I want to thank you guys so much for having me on here tonight. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm sorry, but I have a sick kid behind the camera, so I'm so distracted, and he's coughing a lot. So I'm sorry.
Oh no, it was good meeting you.
It was nice meeting you too, Barb. Thank you.
I hope your little boy's better. Oh.
Thank you. Me too. He's been sick for about 2, 3. This is the 3rd day, so we're still working on it. And we still have Christmas stuff to do tonight. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Ben.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to all of y'all too. I hope y'all have a beautiful Christmas.
You too.
And I hope Santa brings y'all everything y'all wanted. Okay.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, Dennis. Thank you so much for having me. All right. Bye, y'all. Thanks.
That was great.
Poor Ben being sick.
I know. Poor thing.
Oh, he just gets extra spoiled at Christmas then.
Aw.
No fun being sick at Christmas.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
because I'm sure we all have that, that you just felt terrible on Christmas. And it's like, that's not
right.
That's not good.
Oh, yeah.
Yet speaking of, Jane, you had said about what your neighbors think about you with the lit tree out in the garden. And then like you said, it looks like a blob. Well, one night on our driveway camera, I have a wreath out there and it's set on his little light's set on a timer, but the timer must have been messed up. So I remember I looked at the camera, I looked what was going on. And then about 10 minutes later, I went back to it and I'm like, oh, what's that light? Oh my gosh. Is that an orb? I'm like, oh my gosh. I zoom in and I still couldn't figure it out. And then I thought, oh, that's the wreath.
Well,
it was weird because it was just stationary. So I mean, yeah.
We were talking about gifting. Well, we tried peanut butter a couple times. One time, the jar disappeared but never came back. Well, the second one we put out, we caught the little thing on the camera, and it was a possum, and he went up. And all of a sudden, he grabbed that whole jar and ran off with it.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going, okay.
I heard about that happening to somebody. It said it was a skunk. Got into a bottle of a jar of peanut butter, and it got it stuck on his head.
Oh,
no. And the guy had to go up and pull it. He said, did that very carefully. He had to pull that bottle off of that skunk's head. That guy was very, very brave.
Yeah. That's for sure. Oh my gosh. Wow. I wonder, Dr. Carol, do you know that where did this skunk come back to his house, or how did he find it?
Well, I think it was running around out, it was running around with that bottle stuck on his head, and he had to go out and pull it off.
Bouncing off everything, never got out of the yard.
What it was, I think there was camping, and he had a jar of peanut butter, and the skunk got in the yard, and got his head stuck on it.
Oh my goodness!
And he had to run out there and try to save the poor thing. But it's the thing about wildlife, and I've had this happen actually, and I never could get it. There was a bird one time, where I was at. I think it was a robin or something like that, and the poor thing had the 6-pack holder plastic thing, stuck on his foot. I wanted to catch it and try to get it off, but there was no way I could do it. The bird wouldn't let me do it. But that's bad when you think about stuff like that. Ever since then, I would always, if I had one of those, I would cut it up before I put it in the trash.
Yes.
I didn't want to think about another bird getting caught on something like that. But that happens, you know.
Yeah.
Bad.
There's a lot of animals that would get stuck in those.
Yeah.
I don't think that they still make them? I feel like you don't see it very often if they do. They have more of the it's like individual, like a little, almost like a clamp that goes down. Have you seen that? Have any of you seen that? Like on each can, and it's kind of like, oh boy, you know, but it's a way to keep the cans together. But I think most of it now is just in cardboard. So,
right.
You know, which, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not.
But people do not realize, you know, trash has to go somewhere. It doesn't magically disappear.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize how much this impacts wildlife.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of these, you know, videos of bears with a bucket stuck on their head and stuff like that. You know, it's pitiful, really. But these are the ones we see. And you have to think about how many we don't see that, you know, die that way. It's bad. It's bad that we have that bad of an impact on wildlife the wrong way, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I try to, as much as possible, have as little as I can, you know?
Right.
I think that's probably all of us do in this field. You know, most of us probably
another thing about plastic, the world is becoming plastic. Little bit by little bit. There's so much plastic is assimilating into the environment. I was reading the other day where they have actually found traces of plastic in caves in Antarctica where nobody's ever been before.
Oh my God.
Plastic is going all the way around the world. It's getting in the wild. It's getting in us. We have particles of plastic in our heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So, I mean, it's getting worse.
My daughter is an environmental scientist, and when she was part of her senior project when she was graduating was that she had to do a study on the water in the Puget Sound. We live on the Sound, and it's all in this area, and so she had to, but it's a large body of water, so she kind of had to travel up and down it. The things that they were testing for was microplastics, and she could not believe the amount of microplastics. She's like, what in the world? Like, how is this happening? And also she is like, Mom, don't ever buy anything with glitter, because that's the other thing. And that's plasticized also. But they could not, she could not believe the amount of microplastics and glitter in. Yeah.
We know how glitter gets everywhere. Everybody's experienced that.
Yeah.
The glitter lasts for
I tell
years.
you, water bottles are the worst thing probably to put plastic back in the environment. That and of course trash bags. These plastic grocery bags as you get into the store. Those are the worst things. They become parachutes when the wind catches them. They go up in trees. They get caught up in the ocean. They get swallowed by whales. The list goes on and on. These are the worst things possible we could have ever invented.
Now maybe it's the area, but they charge you for every plastic bag here in my area. So, like I have the, reusable bags.
Yeah, they try to outlaw them, really, eventually. They want to do it.
Yeah, that's what they are here. But what's really, what's ironic. And so there's still so many people that use them. And these bags are very, very, like, wow, talk about will be around forever. Very thick. You're not going to have anything bust through or anything, which is fine. But I thought that the whole purpose of this was not to have more plastic bags.
Right.
I feel, isn't there some way that somebody can invent a plastic bag that decomposes. I mean, I know that there is, that it is available, but I guess it's probably just too expensive. I don't know, but you would think that would be something to.
Well, I think the problem with plastic that it has to be thick to be durable. And then when you get it so thin to be able to break down, then you can no longer carry your heavy stuff in them. So it's kind of a double-edged thing. So you're probably better off just getting rid of it altogether.
Yeah.
We got offered paper bags the other day at the grocery store.
Less of an environmental footprint, as they call it, if it would deteriorate very quickly. But some of this stuff will last for 100, maybe 1,000 years, some of it, depending on what it is, before it really goes away. That's bad to think about, But that's what they call the environmental footprint. Ever how long it lasts on the environment, whatever kind of an effect it has on our environment, it can be very bad.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do think about that, the process of taking, something, and how can you use it effectively. You might have to obviously change it even molecularly, but to be able to use something and I don't know, till it's gone or whatever. So things aren't immediately like, one use and it's going in the landfill.
Now, Blazer in chat says his mom cuts up the plastic bags and knits them into permanent reusable bags. And I've seen people take the plastic and weave them.
Yeah.
They make clothing, they make shirts, they make shorts. So you could do that also with a bag, like Blazer's mom. You can
that's cool.
That and make a permanent recyclable bag to go to the grocery store every time.
That's good. That's a great idea. Wow. That's
cool.
I've actually seen them take 10 cans, like soda cans, crush them up, crumble them up, tear them in shreds, and put them in and actually redo the aluminum that they are, and make other stuff with them. It can be reused and it can be recycled, but you got to have that want to do it.
Yes,
kind of a situation.
Yeah, you got to have the time.
And unfortunately, a lot of people are not going. They don't want to do it.
See,
but it can be done.
The thing that I guess but confuses me and just frustrates me is that all right, for instance, so I live in Washington State, and our governor Jay Inslee purports to be Mr. Environmentalist, blah, blah. I mean, he just is all about the environment, which is whatever, but also hypocritical because for instance, there are so few things that we actually recycle because it costs too much.
Right.
But wait, so you're putting these, these millions of dollars each year that's earmarked for, projects to combat climate change and whatnot, to protect the environment. But why aren't you, doing it with things like that?
Yeah.
And somehow
they got
they're lying to it. They claim that some of this stuff is recycled, and it's not. It's going straight in the dumps where it should be,
Yes.
They're trying to, pull one over on us, definitely, because it's a big money business for them. See.
Well, yeah. If you don't do what you say, you just collect the money.
Yeah.
So what other Christmas stuff do we have, Dennis?
Well, yeah, they what him?
I said, what other Christmas stuff would you like to talk about?
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. We covered some of the other Christmas stuff. I would think. What do you think about the commercialization of Christmas? The commercialism that's going on with that. What do you think about that? Do you think there's too much emphasis on that? The commercial aspects of Christmas. What do you think about that, Barb?
I I think so, but I also think it's turning back to a more simpler, because people simply can't afford things, and that's awful. But it definitely, you know, has you reevaluate what are the things that I need versus what are the things that I want, you know, and how much is too much. So,
Right.
but it definitely, it really, you think about how much stress that is added, because I don't know, like as a mom, you know, I want to have like a perfect Christmas, you know, and a mom and a grandma, I want to have this, you know, perfect Christmas. And it's like, there's so much stress, but I have learned to, okay, you kids are adults now, so you need to do your share, you know, and to my husband.
Right.
So it definitely is easier, but it's still, because I think this is really a celebration of Jesus's birth, and I want to do that. But, you know, but also is Jesus like, that's cool? Or he's like, oh, brother, why are you doing this? Why have you commercialized it so much?
Right.
That is so true. You know, we lose sight of what's really going on with that. Sometimes we want to have a perfect Christmas, want to have it this way, want to have that way, when we really lose sight of what the real meaning of it is, you know, and that's a shame, really. Yes. But it happens a lot. And, you know, I noticed here lately, in the last few years, people don't even wait for Christmas anymore. Right? A week or two before that, you see them give the kids their presents and all that. And they're just so caught up in the commercialism of it that, you know, to me, they've lost something special about Christmas. What really makes it special to that extent, you know, that's the bad thing about it. Really, we sacrifice one thing for another.
Yes, it's true. Definitely, that's sad.
Yeah.
We noticed a lot less lawn decoration.
Well, we'll let Barbara go.
Okay. Did you? I'm sorry, you cut out. I'm
let
sorry,
Barbara
Dennis.
go if she's wanting to take off here. Like to get back to your other stuff there. We appreciate you coming in with us.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Jane, Gerald, Dr. Carol. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Of course.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Everybody in the chat, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Barb.
All right. Take care. All right. She's always a pleasant person to have around.
Yeah,
Jessica
she is
too. And we appreciate them both coming on tonight and sharing their memories with us and everything. And I was going to ask you, Gerald, what's your favorite memory of Christmas?
Well, I actually had, if you guys know the movie Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where at the end of the movie, he was actually the hero that his son idolized, so he got the best Christmas gift ever. Well, my dad's company used to put on a Christmas party for all the employees and mainly the kids. So every kid got a present from the company, paid for it. And it could be a toy train. It could be race cars. I mean, they weren't cheap gifts when we got them back when we were kids. And all the dads and moms dressed up as special characters. Well, I didn't know that as a little kid. I just thought, you know, these were elves and helpers and all that. And one came up to me and was dressed, I don't think it was dressed as an elf, but it was dressed like a clown, kind of a clown outfit, kind of a nice, funny, jovial thing. And he had a bluish silver ball in his hand. And he was kind of juggling it around and playing with me, you know, and I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought it was special, you know, that this Santa helper or whatever was playing with me. And then years later, I found out that was actually my dad. So at the time, I didn't know that, but that's kind of like that Jingle All the Way, where your dad was actually the person that you admired the most. And that was for me that year. That was a very special moment for me. It was just fantastic. And it turned out it was my dad.
That's cool.
That's neat. You got a special surprise out of that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
So somewhere in the pile, I have an actual picture of my dad in that outfit holding the ball somewhere in one of the piles of photos that came from my mom.
Really? That'd be neat to see.
I remember when I was a kid, my father worked at cotton mills. He worked at cotton mills. Back many years ago, cotton was king in the South. And we had all the cotton mills, and they, I guess probably in this town, there must have been 5 or 6 different cotton mills going at one time or another. But anyway, if you worked for the cotton mills, they actually owned you almost. Okay. It was truly very much like a form of communism in a way. They had their own stores. You spent the money they give you in their store.
Just like the coal mines.
They got all their money back. But every Christmas, they would give out tickets to the employees, and each ticket was a bag of toys. It was just a little sort of like a shopping bag full of little toys, and it would have good stuff in it, like a little world globe or a little pinball, like pinball machine type thing, or just little small stuff, what you would call stocking stuffers, probably something like that.
Yeah.
And then you would also have fruit in it. You would have, a couple of oranges, apples, walnuts in it, or something like that. And this was a big deal, for little kids. We would meet in the gymnasium. We'd give them the ticket, and they would hand out these fruit bags, with the toys in it and all that. And that was a big deal to us. We didn't get a lot. We didn't have a lot. And that was Christmas for us to a certain extent. We still would get a little something from Santa, maybe. But that was, a big part of our Christmas, that we would go and collect these things. I remember that very well. And we would have to stand in line to get these bags. And we would always get later on, we'd get together and say, hey, what did you get? That's what I got. So they had different types of things in every bag. So you never knew what you were going to get. But back in those days, it was a simpler time. You were very appreciative of the little things that you got. They meant a lot to you. And we would play with those things all year until the next year they would still be in use. We didn't tear them up. But nowadays, kids get something, they immediately start trying to destroy it. They don't play with things like they used to play. A lot of kids are very destructive with these things, which I think reflects our society to a certain extent. But back then, we appreciated things we got because we didn't get a whole lot, and we kept them from one year to the next. That's the way it went. And I still have a couple of those items here that we got, that I've kept over the years. But that was the life that we had, with the mill companies and all that.
Wow, that's cool. I remember the nylon fish netting stockings you used to get with candy and toys in it. When we were younger, we'd also get the ones with the walnuts and pecans and all that in it. So it'd be all nuts in the Christmas stocking. I think it's because my dad liked them. So he knew if we didn't like it or didn't want them, he would get to eat them.
Yeah, we always had them.
Yeah, that's what we would get. Well, we would get in the bags. You'd get some of the little stockings sometimes that had a little stuff in it. Like you said, the fishnet stockings, And down in the bag, you would have like Brazil nuts, walnuts, pecans, all different kinds of nuts. Yeah. My favorite was Brazil nuts. Of course, they were hard to crack.
Yeah,
they were.
They were hard. You appreciated them when you got them cracked.
I'm pretty sure we got some of those squeeze handle nut crackers that my dad's broke on Brazil nuts.
They are good though.
Yeah. Remember the old nut crackers? They looked like a pair of pliers. You know what? Remember those?
Yep, still got those. That's what I still use.
Crack nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, my dad
Some
broke
looked kind of like
several
pliers, and you would take them. Yeah. How about you, Jane? What do you remember? One of your Christmas memories, toys that you got or whatever.
I don't
your
know
favorite
about
toys.
my favorite toy. I was in the Johnny West, which is cowboys and Indians and horses. So I'd collect those every year. I just kept asking for more and more. But I guess my favorite memory is
Johnny West.
Huh? Do you remember Johnny West?
I remember Johnny West, the toys, yeah.
Yeah, I liked those when I was little. I wasn't in the Barbie dolls. I liked the cowboys and Indians and the horses. And so I just collected a bunch of those. But I guess my favorite memory is having both of the grandmas spend the night every Christmas Eve. But our tradition in our family was homemade. I'm sorry, I'm going to gross people out. Homemade oyster stew. And every Christmas Eve, we had to have oyster stew. And this was with fresh oysters. But almost every Christmas, they would all fight over how much butter to put in. And they would always fight, is the oysters ready? Are they curly enough before you can add the milk? And it just seemed like there'd always be this argument in there, of how to make this oyster stew all perfect. But yeah, that's our tradition that to this day, a lot of my siblings and even me, I'm going to make homemade oyster stew for Christmas Eve.
Well, wasn't there some kind of superstition attached to that? You'd only eat oysters on certain months that have an R or something like that. Was that?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I remember. I think that you only harvest them with months, or the best harvest is with the months with R's in them. I don't know.
I know it's something like that. Yeah. I remember that years ago. Hearing something that you eat them during a certain month or something. I think it probably had something to do with the freshness of them.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I know the stores, especially the fish and market stores, really stock up on them for Christmas time.
I remember the Johnny West toys. They had the best looking horses with that. I remember that.
Dennis, I still have my collection. I still have them. I've got the horses, the heads move up and down, the arms moved, and I think I got like 15 of the horses. Still have all the saddles and the bridles and all the Indians. And
that'd be worth something because toy collecting is a big thing.
Right.
It might be worth something sometime. Hang on to them.
Yep. That's what I wanted each year, is just more Johnny West toys.
I have a nephew who is big into toy collecting. It is a big hobby for a lot of people. I have a few toys left over from my childhood, just a very few. I've got like a little metal army tank.
Oh yeah.
That thing used to, of course, it don't work anymore now, but it was a bump and go thing. It would bump into stuff, what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And it was spark too. It had sparklers like in it. It was like a firing the cannon on the gun.
Yeah.
On the
right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was neat.
They used to have the cars like that too. When you wind it up and it went, and it'd shoot sparks out like the tailpipes or out the back end of the car.
Boy, we're getting old.
Yeah,
that's telling our age.
I had a car. I think I remember having a car. I don't know what happened to that. Had a little old man that sat in the car. He was made of tin, and the car was a bump and go car too. It would bump into things, and it was neat. That was very early age of robotics. That's what it was. Yes. That was over the years. A lot of I remember one year I actually had a castle with a bunch of knights in it. I remember that was neat. I always liked I was more like a toy soldier guy. I always liked the toy soldiers and stuff like that. Cowboys and Indians and toy soldiers. I like the little miniatures,
I remember my sister and my brother, I believe, I don't know if it's a school project or what, but they made a castle, kind of like what you're talking about, but they used, cardboard tubes and cardboard boxes and cut it up, made the castle, painted the bricks and everything. Then they took army men and painted them like they were Roman soldiers and even put the little helmets on them. They made little tufts on top of their helmets and stuff. So they had like a Roman castle and a Roman army.
That's neat. It takes a lot of imagination.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I used to make, I used to take cardboard and glue, and I would make little toy trucks, cars. I mean, it would be about it would be bigger than matchboxes. I used to make them that had wheels that would turn on them and everything. They were made completely out of cardboard. I remember doing that. If you didn't have a toy, you would always end up making one.
Right.
Yeah, that's the way it went.
Well, how many times
you made it?
How many times as a kid have you ever picked up a stick and imagined it was a rifle, or you found the one that was shaped like it had the barrel and the handle, so you just pretended like you had a gun?
Or take a bigger stick and make a horse out of it to ride around on,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stick ponies were good back in the day, or horses.
I just wonder if we'd have had our own way, if we'd have had real animals like horses and stuff. Yeah, well, we would do that. We could really would have had fun then, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We'll probably not be here. We probably would have got killed, I guess. I have to wonder about that sometimes. If I had some of the real stuff, if I'd still be here. Real guns and all that we played with.
Well, I still have the BB gun upstairs. I actually did get a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas one year.
Oh, yeah.
I still have it. It's upstairs. Doesn't work very well. I need to take it apart, oil it, and get new seals on it. But it'll still shoot BBs.
Crystal remembers Cabbage Patch dolls. Yeah, Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah, that was a big thing back in the day.
Yeah.
My Little Pony. Yeah, My Little Pony.
Yeah. You're the man, girl.
Kyle says you're the man, girl.
Yep.
Don't shoot your eye out.
Don't shoot. It never happened.
No,
although we did growing up have BB gun wars out in the backyard. So I don't know how it never happened, but
I have had that happen with BB guns. If you shoot straight, you get hit sometimes. It would bounce right straight back on.
Back at you, yeah.
I had that happen. Yeah. That's what happened to the little boy in the Toy Story, the Christmas story. Got hit in the glasses.
Yeah, blamed it on an icicle.
Rainbow Bright and Strawberry Shortcake. Yeah. I remember them too. That used to be my favorite movie growing up, Christmas Story, yeah. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. It was a conspiracy against that BB gun. It was a conspiracy. Right. Yep. I had to have them two bounce back at me and hit me right now. Yeah, it gets you good, buddy. Yep. Oh, yeah. You saw it at the Christmas. Yeah, I would love to. There are a lot of movies I would love to see on the big screen. I have seen a few of them, like The Exorcist, several of them on the big screen, but I would like to see more on. It's a different experience when you see it on a bigger screen.
Right.
Like Gone with the Wind.
Star Wars.
The Wizard of Oz. I'd love to see that on a big screen. Man, sirens have been going off 20 minutes in my neighborhood. What's going on now? Oh, Lord.
Oh, my.
Sounds like it started celebrating early.
Probably just drones. You'll be all right.
I had pellet guns and this gun that shot disc. Oh, yeah. I remember those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they look like space guns.
Yeah, it was actually supposed to look like the phasers from Star Trek, and that's how it was packaged. They used to have all the little colored discs that shot out of them.
Those things were good to knock over cans with and stuff. That was a good target practice.
Oh, yeah.
Little glowworm. Yeah, I remember little glowworm. That's another toy. Little glowworm. Yeah. Monka says cops, fire trucks, and ambulances. Lord have mercy. Sounds like you got
that kind of sirens.
Wild night going on.
Something's going on.
Must be a fire or something.
Oh yeah, the Snoopy cone, snow cone maker. Yeah, you remember those?
Oh yeah, we had one. We had one that was a snowman too.
Yeah, I remember the snowman.
Talking.
Yeah. It would make the shaved ice.
Talking Teddy Ruxpix. I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was a talking bear.
Put Metallica and Teddy Ruxpin.
Metallica and Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah. The Teddy Ruxpin was a player. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it had a cassette.
Yeah, like a little cassette player thing.
With it.
Yeah.
It would tell stories, and its mouth would move, and it had its own voice. And
Kyle Smith says Elmo with a leather jacket. Okay, yeah, Elmo. Blaze all ones you listening. What was the name of that other one of my favorite ones? Cookie Monster. Yeah, Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
Cookie. Yeah.
They had puppets of the Sesame Street, and I had Oscar the Grouch that you put your hand in. You had two little strings. You can make his mouth move with your hand, and you can make his arms move in and out like this with the strings.
Well, Oscar my favorite was the Count. You remember the Count?
Yeah.
Oh, this chat's funny tonight.
Actually, all those things were monsters. They just were goofy looking. It wasn't scary looking. They were goofy.
Yeah, Snuffleupagus and Big Bird.
Gremlins said the cows they'd whipped six of them from women during Christmas one day. So the girl in Gog said we used to have after hours parties of Christmas. Me and my nieces and nephews. We had a white elephant gifts. We had white elephant gifts. Okay.
Yeah.
Gremlins. Yeah, I remember Gremlins. Don't feed them after dark.
Don't feed them at all.
All those things were the Muppets. You know, the guy that made the Muppets. That man got filthy rich off of all those Muppets. They were everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Care Bears. Yeah, I remember Care Bears. Yeah. I haven't drank anything since 2004. Well, that's good for you, Blazer. Good job. You do far enough away from it now, and it should be a very bad memory. GoBots, as Philip said. Oh yeah, GoBots. I like to rock 'em, sock 'em robots. Remember them?
Yep, those are fun.
Yeah. Actually, you see some of those in that movie, Red One. Remember?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They were a little bit bigger in Red One.
Christmas isn't the same, Monica says, when most of your family is deceased. That is right. Loneliness is felt more at Christmas time than any other time. Seems like it is anyway. Especially when it comes to holidays and you're all alone, you get depressed. There's a lot of depression at holidays. That's why it's a good idea to always trying to, think about the good memories that you have from things like Christmas, holidays, people that you love. They may be gone, but the memories are still with you, and the memories still keep them alive.
Right.
Mhm.
That way, and that's
a
the
lot
good
of
thing you have. You can touch the memories.
a lot of towns will have a Christmas parade, so you can join that and feel the festivities. Or even some of them will have Christmas dances or Christmas parties for the community. You can still go there. Even senior citizens places have open Christmas parties that you can go to. So even if they're not your family, you can still bless somebody and feel a relationship with Christmas and giving gifts and the joyfulness.
That's true. As long as you got to sometimes step outside of yourself and your feelings to get you to distract yourself from a lot of this stuff. And the best way to do that is by helping other people and becoming involved with other people, even if it's just working in a soup kitchen or giving out presents to underprivileged kids or whatever the situation. You got to get outside of yourself sometimes. We tend to turn inwards on ourselves too much sometimes, and that's never a good thing, really. We need to turn outwards. That's the main thing.
Well, for anybody that doesn't have anything better to do on Christmas, we will probably be on Wednesday late on the Night Owl Lounge. So if you're all done with your festivities, dinners and stuff, or if you don't have anywhere else to go, come join us and chat and have fun like we're having tonight, and we'll reminisce and talk about Christmas or other stuff. So join us Wednesday night.
It'll be late night
on Midwest Night Watchers.
Absolutely. You can always drop into the Night Owl Lounge.
That's right. And we'll probably do it on New Year's too, just like we did last year. We did Christmas Eve and Christmas or New Year's Eve. And this Wednesdays actually lines up with the holidays this year, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it'll actually be Christmas and New Year's this year.
That's why we figured everyone would be done with their dinners and opening gifts and family, and they're all back home and don't know what to do. Well, Night Owl Lounge will be on.
Philip says, I feel all of my lost family within me. Mm-hmm. I hear their words and their lessons and my soul, so they're always with me. They urge me forward and not to look behind. Yeah, that's a good thing, Like I say, you can become too depressed, too morose, too caught up in the thing, and you got to remember that, like I said, you turn outward. It's much better to do that than to turn inward on yourself. Absolutely. Memories are good to have, Memories have their place. Memories and stuff that have happened to us in the past make us what we are. But we need to not dwell on the bad side of things. We need to look at the better, the brighter side of things. And that includes, like Gerald said, going out and helping other people and getting involved in things, and doing for others. I think the greatest way to hold back darkness in this world is the little good things that we can do. You know, it may not seem like a lot to some people, but it is to. It can be the world to some people. You know,
Absolutely.
The little things. Yeah.
Even the littlest, tiniest gesture can mean something big and beautiful to somebody else. And over a time of a season or a year, all those little tiny things and moments that you've done, this makes a great memory and a great gift that you've given people and yourself that you can look back on.
That's so true, you know. And another thing, another way that we have to look at it is that, you know, if you get depression can be very much like quicksand. The longer you stay in it, the deeper you go, and you don't want to do that. You want to knock it out before it gets too bad, before you start getting too deep in it. And that's when you need to start turning outwards and looking at other things and trying to get your mind off of that, or whatever the situation. We have bad memories, but you don't have to dwell on those bad memories. You don't have to let those bad memories overwhelm you and take things away from you. And I think at this time of the year, we tend to stress out much more than we should. We're worried about getting this for somebody or that for somebody. We worry about this and that, and most of the time, most people don't even need that stuff. They really don't. They got plenty of money. They can go buy it if they want to. Why are we buying it? We're losing sight of what, like Barbara said earlier. We were talking about with Jessica. You lose sight of the real things of what's really going on, and you get stressed out and you get too fixated on something that's not the right thing.
Well, it's a double-edged sword. We all have memories as a kid, either looking through the wish book or the holiday book from Sears or whatever the brand was, and you'd always see those cool toys, and once in a while you would actually get something that you really asked for and really wanted, for Christmas, that one special gift. And we try to do that for our kids or our grandkids. We try to do that exact same thing, but at the same time, you kind of lose the meaning of Christmas, especially, for the Jesus being born and, all that special memory. But we create our own atmosphere by trying to recreate our youth through our kids and grandkids.
Mm-hmm. We kind of capture something that's gone in a way, that we can't get back, unfortunately. But, I think at this time of the year, especially when we celebrate with trying to give gifts, we try to give of ourselves. And it is more blessed to give than to receive. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. When we give, we give of ourselves, but we need to give the right things. We need to give the things that need to be given. And that can be our time and our attention. That's more valuable than something you go buy at Walmart, You give people your attention, your time, your support, your love. Give them the things that really matter, the things that can't be bought with money, That's the main thing, because we need to give those kind of gifts to commemorate the greatest gift of all that was given to us. That's what we're celebrating here, the greatest gift of all that was given to mankind. And we got to remember something very important about that gift, which of course was Jesus Christ. And we got to remember one very important thing about that. That gift was given, and still it's the gift that keeps on giving too, by the way. But that gift of Jesus was given unconditionally. And that's the way we need to give. And that's the way we need to be. We need to be unconditional about these things, And we need to understand that there are some things that can't be bought with money. And the things that can't be bought with money are the best things to have and possess after all, And they're the best things to give.
Right. Mercy and grace is at the top of the list.
Mm-hmm. I think the number one thing that we can give people are our love. That is definitely the number one thing of the list. To try to love people like we have been loved unconditionally, without any condition. As human beings, we set too many conditions on things when we shouldn't. And that's the way. That's why we. There's another thing about our pets that we love, because they love us unconditionally. And that includes, that includes horses and cows and goats and pigs. Anything that has the capacity to love and can love unconditionally is definitely something worth having or being around. And we should try to be that way. We should try to emulate what these animals are. And because like I said, we were given the greatest gift, and that was love, an unconditional love. And I think another great gift that we can give people is our time and our attention. We need to ask people from time to time, hey, are you okay? Is there something you need? Is there something I can do for you? But we live in our own little worlds, and sometimes we forget about other people. We're in our own little bubble, and we shouldn't be that way, because we're cutting ourselves off, and we are losing a lot of the essence of life that is around us.
Absolutely.
Kyle says a pig can show love. Now I know it for a fact. Yeah, animals have that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I said before. Anything that can do that has a spirit. Is a spiritual. It has almost like a soul to it.
Yep. Yeah, our pets become very special too, especially when the kids are older and move away, or they're grown up, or maybe you didn't have kids to begin with. You can always have a pet that you can have that special bond with.
Oh yeah, I've seen many times. I know you have too. You've seen people, horses and cows run up to you. They like you. They know you. They recognize you. They love you.
Yep.
Yeah. I always think about that. It's kind of hard to think about eating something like that. I mean, it is kind of hard to do that. Know that this is something that has the capacity to love you. How can you eat it? How can you do that to it?
I guess I have an echo.
Yeah, we got an echo or something.
Uh-oh. I am hearing you in the other room, or I'm hearing myself in the other room.
I don't know. Something's picking up. Weird.
Well, it seems like when I go 2 hours on StreamYard, I start getting an echo, then eventually it goes away again. So we have hit the 2-hour mark.
I think that's where we're at. Well, I guess it's about time for us to wind it up anyway here. We've been going, it's after 10 now, so that's about 2 hours. Well, we could pull a Jessica Marathon here. I give it a new name now, Jessica Marathon.
She broke her record.
I'm gonna watch YouTube videos of Siberian Husky dogs. Yeah. We got interesting chats going on here. Anyway, it's been good. What both of you got any closing thoughts on tonight?
Just that Christmas, can be a very special time, and that you can experience joy and love, and you can also give out joy and love to others, even if it's strangers. It doesn't have to be family or kids. You can make somebody else's Christmas or season special, or it could be special for you, just giving out that love and make you feel good.
Yep, it's not about the gifts, it's about the time with your family and loved ones.
There you go. Yeah?
Yeah, it's not about the gifts. Just spend time with your family and loved ones and just enjoy it to the fullest.
Very well said. How do you think about hosting the road less traveled? How'd you like it? We'll have to bring you back on again one sometime.
Yeah, it was different. Thank you. Thank you for the offer. I'm usually in chat making everyone behave.
Oh, they've been really nice tonight. They've been good. They're always good, but I mean, they've been having fun talking to each other and sharing memories and gifts and toys. And
well, I might have to put Gerald out to pasture for a while and bring Jane in for some.
There you go. Jane can take over for me.
Oh my.
We got a substitute for Gerald here, okay? Right. But anyway, yeah, you know, our memories make us what we are, good or bad. We have good and we have bad memories, but they are their experiences that we've had. And I think they make us better people in a way for what we've experienced over the time. And especially looking back at Christmas time, very reflective time to look back on the past and that. But also it's a good time to look forward to the future, you know, as well. And the future is what we make it. Yeah. Absolutely. The past has made us, but the future is what we make it. And we try to make it a good one and definitely fill it with light and love. That's the main thing.
That's
absolutely.
Right. We are who we are is because what we went through.
I want to wish everybody out there listening and watching tonight a very, very Merry Christmas. And we'll say Christmas and not Happy Holidays, okay?
That's right.
Christmas. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you.
That's right.
And we appreciate you being here and joining us tonight for a Christmas road less traveled. That was neat. And
that was good.
Come back and see us again very soon. I will. I'm debating whether or not I'll have a hunting the shadows on. That's going to be on Christmas Day, so I may take some time off on that. We'll see.
There you go.
Anyway, we'll get back with you hopefully Friday. Definitely see what turns up on that on Paranormal Point of View. And Gerald, you got anything coming up this week? Are you going to be taking this week off or what?
No, Wednesday night we'll be doing a night out lounge like we talked about for anybody that wants to come hang out with us Christmas night. And I don't know, we might go 3-4 hours. Who knows how long we'll go. And then Sunday we have a brown dwarf coming up and we're going to be talking about the Olmec.
All right. Sounds very interesting. Yeah. We'll have to check that out, definitely. Well, appreciate you all being here tonight. And like we said before, your support is always important to us. And we appreciate you being on here and sharing your memories with us. And we all wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you so much for being here. And look forward to the days ahead. And take care of yourselves out there. Don't celebrate too hard. Watch out for Santa. And maybe he should watch out for you. Okay. But anyway, be careful out there. And until we get together again, my friends, Godspeed.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas, everyone.